All right, let's do it.
We've done it. We've been doing it the whole time.
No,
We've been doing it the whole time.
We need to not a dress rehearsal.
We need to clink a glass on the microphone and then say the words. Let's go.
Okay, do we have to clink? Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Yeah, that worked. We did it. Welcome to Science Under the Influence. We are your intrepidly intoxicated hosts. My name's Henry, and I'm joined as always with
Mitch.
And our special guest for this month, the wonderful Caitlin. Hello, Caitlin.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm well.
And how are you going throughout these COVID times?
It's been fine. We were just talking about our weird pandemic hobbies. Mm-hmm. My weird pandemic hobby is depression.
Oh no. And that segues nicely. Do you want to tell us a bit more about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So for the last 5 years, I've actually been a science communicator. A communicator of the sciences.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, but apart from that, I also managed to maintain good enough grades to get a degree in anthropology.
How good!
Nice.
My area of expertise.
Look at that.
Yeah, so that's kind of what you need to know about me. I also do a little bit of art on the side, which we might talk about later.
We actually
love science.
Yeah, we actually had you on as part of our workshop sessions to get this show on the ground, and that was fun.
What was the score in that one again?
Something about you winning at the end of it?
Oh, yeah, I actually won that one.
Yeah,
I did win that one.
You won by a lot. What I gathered from your story there is that science communication leads to depression.
No, it's not a correlation. Correlation doesn't equal causation. No. You should know this.
I should. Damn. I've got that written down somewhere. Hang on.
Oh, no.
That's fine. I found it.
There it is. Awesome. I think we should properly get this bad boy on the road.
On the road.
All right, here we go.
Whenever you're ready.
Section 1.
Section 1.
Is it round 1? Round 1. Round 1.
Whatever you want it to be, Mitch. What's it called?
Just the headline.
1.
Section 1. So, here we go. Going clockwise, which is really hard on Zoom. Each contestant offers 3 headlines at a time from the last year in science. So, they've got to be word for word accurate or entirely false. None of this swapping a few words out business. And the person providing a headline can choose to elaborate a little further if they want to. But the idea is that the other 2 contestants need to guess whether your headline is true or bollocks. Mm-hmm. So, who's kicking us off?
And the scoring with it is every time someone guesses your headline correctly, you must take a shot and you lose a point.
That's right.
So we start in the negatives. Yeah. That's it. And Caitlin, as our guest, I feel like you should kick us off.
I agree wholeheartedly.
What's your first headline?
All right. Let me get the old headlines up. All right. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Baffling maths riddle that looks like a pile of worms almost solved.
Ooh. I wonder how it looks like a pile of worms. I wonder how this potentially fake riddle looks like a pile of worms.
I think there's lots of the sort of top-end pure mathematics stuff, and it just gets... The diagrams get weirder and weirder. You know, you start out with just the curves, and then there's the three-dimensional plots, and then there's all that stuff. I'm inclined to go for a true, and because I'm sort of feeling nice in these in these challenging times. I'm going to see how many times I can say that in the episode. In these challenging times, I'm feeling very, very charitable. So I'm probably going to go true.
I was also going to say true. I don't know how you saying one or the other on a 50-50 option makes you charitable, Mitch, but I'm going to say true as well.
Okay, well, interesting answers from the crowd here. That is a true article.
Lovely.
It looks like a pile of worms because of reasons that are actually a little bit past my understanding. But I did see a picture of it, and it does look like a pile of worms. But it is only almost solved. It's not solved.
Almost solved.
So they're teasing us with it.
That's it. Feel free to take your 2 shots. And
okay, I will definitely take my 2 shots. Thank you.
And I will get going with mine. Study finds magpies are getting dumber, avoiding road transport less often.
I'm always really skeptical of anything that starts with study finds. And I don't really like Henry. So, false. Nah, magpies are great.
Mitch has gone straight for the pro strat of like analyzing the wording of the headline to imagine if it's a realistic clickbait New Scientist headline. And I do tend to agree with that. I think this is fake because firstly, it does say study finds, and that's just not how people write science these days. This is the year 2020. This is the 2020th year of our Lord.
Stop saying its name. It'll turn up again.
You have to
It'll come back.
This is 2020, and we always have to phrase news headlines about science as a question.
True.
So that's why I think this one's false. Not that mine was a question either, but
Well, you are both absolutely correct. This study is false. I have ran over too many magpies this week.
Love you, magpies.
I'm sorry, you did what to the magpies?
What?
I've run over too many magpies.
Oh, he's joking. It's okay.
That's some chicken fried horse shit.
No, I'm pretty sure I said I've almost run over too many magpies.
Like you said you ran over too many magpies.
No, okay, maybe I didn't say the word almost.
Because like,
I've almost run over.
It's believable that you could run over one, but like, it's actually probably quite hard if you were trying deliberately to run over a magpie.
I don't know.
They're frisky. They're
generally in the sky.
But the thing is, the reason why I have said almost is the only thing that stopped me is me just going, I shouldn't run over the magpie. Like, I got so close to them so many times and they just wouldn't move.
So this is your sort of assertion, as a scientific study. Like, magpies must have gotten dumber, thought Henry to himself as he drove away from the third near miss of the week.
I had to Google this headline just in case there was something close to it.
I love it. No, anecdata. I love anecdata. That's how we're doing science from now on. 2020, no more. We don't need data anymore. Just anecdotes.
We're an accurate show.
Here we go.
Mitch, what do you got for us?
Okay.
Space Agency. Human urine could help make concrete on moon.
I believe it.
I don't believe it because urine, as far as I know, is actually a liquid.
True.
Oh, but concrete starts off as a liquid. That's such a good point. I'm gonna say false because it sounds like it could be true, but I just think it's false for just like the vibe.
That's cool. You don't lose any
vibe of the thing.
You don't lose anything if you're wrong. It's just Mitch.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What's the point of me ever guessing right?
I lose points.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot.
No, that's cool.
I forgot the joy of seeing others suffer. Sorry.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I forget every episode.
Okay, so you're true. I'm false.
Yep. Mitch, what do you got for us?
Here we go. So, true.
Woo!
True. And here's the T. The lunar dust on the moon, it's called lunar regolith, I found out. It's a powdery soil. Apparently urea helps to make that easier to work with, to make concrete out of it. So as opposed to needing big sewage plants and stuff, they're probably just going to pee in a concrete mixer.
Wow.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What defines urea? How is that different to urine?
Is
that just the good stuff? Like
yeah, it's the good stuff. It's like I believe it's a mineral salt, or it's like a salt in urine.
It's like 98 premium to your E10. Which I have been getting so much of recently because fuel prices have dropped. So let's go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my car's like, what did I do? What did I say? I love this. Oh, fancy. 98. Take her out somewhere nice.
That's it.
What's your next headline?
Kaylin, what do you got?
All right.
Take one.
Tesla self-driving car AI will be able to identify dog breeds.
That sounds like some wholesome shit Elon Musk will pull.
I've fallen out of love with
Was it the name?
Muskie.
Was it the baby name?
Well, that was part of it.
Okay.
So is Grimes potentially.
I don't want to start fights I can't finish.
Yeah,
we'll leave Elon to one side.
Okay. I think that's true, though.
Ooh.
I think it sounds like a true wholesome thing that has been done.
I spent a long time reading about this.
But Caitlin does like dogs.
I like self-driving vehicles in the past. I'm going to say false. I'm going to give you a split decision.
All right, we got a true and false. Well, I am here to tell you that headline is, in fact, very much false. I made that up.
Hey,
that is a fake headline that I invented.
Very nice. It's a very nice fake headline.
I did have the thought that, like, pretty much anything you say about Elon Musk is probably believable.
Plausible, yeah, for sure.
Plausible, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The guy, the man.
Come on,
Elon man. Here we are. Named this kid 12. Like, apparently it's pronounced Ash.
No, it's not.
No, he takes the biscuit for like the most pretentious spelling.
That's it.
Of anything.
I actually suspect it was mostly Grimes because she's kind of been known to toy with unusual names that have like numbers and stuff in it.
Well, she is. Yeah. She's
a bit of a funny one.
There you go.
Just on one thing on Elon Musk while we're here, my favorite thing that he did this week, which is something that I love to say. He posted because he's been on the like reopen from COVID train for a couple of weeks now, and that's kind of been the big drama. Besides him naming his baby something completely misunderstandable. But he posted a picture of an ice cream sundae in a martini glass on his Twitter, and he said something like, great to be reopened. And then someone reverse image searched that image, and it was actually just like an image he took from the official Twitter page of this like chain restaurant.
Oh, what?
Like he didn't actually go and get the martini. And I don't understand.
That is so weird. What?
It's my favorite Twitter drama of this week.
Amazing.
Anyway, Henry, what you got?
My headline is, hoping llamas will become coronavirus heroes. That's the headline.
I think this is true.
This is true.
Yeah, because I saw it.
Yeah. I think I saw this while I was looking through for some other articles.
Yeah, I saw it too. And I chose not to. You know why I didn't choose that one, Henry? Because I was like, that one's too obvious as a topic. They're gonna guess that one.
It is.
I've been trying to steer mainly away from sort of COVID stuff.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a feel-good headline. You're both right, by the way. This is an absolutely true headline.
Henry's getting drunk.
Researchers in Belgium, they chose this 4-year-old llama called Winter with great eyelashes.
Winter.
Yeah. And Winter's antibodies have neutralized coronavirus and other infections.
With great eyelashes, did you say?
Wait, no, yes. It's not her eyelashes that neutralize the coronavirus.
No, the eyelashes don't do it. She just has good eyelashes.
There's so many YouTube makeup influencers that their ears just pricked up. What? No, that's nuts.
I'll take my 2. Mitch, you're up.
Science. All right. Sorry, I was just doing something on the side. Milwaukee zookeepers report that some primate species are mimicking social distancing.
Oh. I feel like this is very plausible.
Yeah, it's very plausible. That's the issue here.
It's very plausible, but I don't know. Because, no, it's not true, because how would the primates know what people are doing in their houses?
Oh, no, true.
Well, the zookeepers are still there.
Oh.
Yeah, but the zookeepers aren't so... I guess they could be, like, standing far apart like the zookeepers are. I don't know.
I guess you have to, like, define what social distancing is in that sentence, right?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to be honest, like, I've been to zoos and I've seen primates just do their thing in zoo, like in a zoo setting, and they don't often take cues from humans in their behavior, in their personal conduct.
I'm going to say it's true. I'm going to say it's true anyway.
I'm going to say it's false.
Split decision, Mitch. What do you got for us?
It is false. It is false.
Hey,
nice. Yeah. But it is based on a true story.
Oh.
Is it fish?
Yeah, so the initial headline that I read, and I thought it was too depressing to include on the show, was that aquarium workers have reported that some of the species are showing signs of depression.
Oh no.
Yeah, just because they're
like
not used to... Yeah. Yeah, like that, just like Caitlin. And we should bring it up more through the show. But then I thought, I wonder if zoo animals are having a hard time. And I went and looked at it, and apparently they're loving it. Yeah, no problem at all. They're doing great. And, you know, they took the iguana. The zoo it was in Milwaukee for a walk through the aquarium. The iguana's never seen fish before. A Milwaukee iguana walk. Shout out to the staff at Milwaukee County Zoo. And they took this iguana for a walk, and he's having a look at the fish. But the thing that gave me the idea for the lie, Henry, which you so where you basically fell for it.
Okay, good.
Was that the primates there are a bit upset. They're spending a bit more time sort of looking wistfully out of the enclosure because there's no one to fling shit at.
Yeah, it's devastating.
But they're watching the keepers have brought the outdoor dining furniture just outside the primate enclosure so that they can watch the keepers eat their lunch.
Yep.
And then the keepers they've reported that the primates always want a bit. They want a bit of their lunch.
Oh,
so that's the kind of hot news that's going on in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel.
On a dark note on that story, do you think it's kind of a bad sign for the ethics of zoos that animals are loving it so much that there's no one around?
No, it's fine. Zoos are great for animals. Her next headline? No.
Okay.
Who wouldn't love, I've loved quarantine. It's been the best being inside the house with all the members of my immediate family. I'm sure zoo animals love it.
Oh man,
that's a good point.
We've offended so many people.
It's not a good point.
In the first
it's nowhere near a good point.
Okay, as
watch
my
Blackfish. We're done.
It's you, Caitlin. It's you.
Okay. Snakes have friends too. Snakes have friends too.
Was it twice in the headline, or was that just for effect? That was the headline. Okay, snakes have friends too.
That's important. Was it twice in the headline, or was it just for effect?
That was for effect.
Okay.
I just thought it was funnier twice.
That's so good. If there was a comma in that's a really powerful headline.
That's it.
Snakes have friends too, comma, pause. Snakes have friends too. Twinsies. I've been in a very yes-giving mood tonight for some reason. I'm going to say yes, snakes do have friends too. Good for them. I want this to be true so much. Yes. 2 yeses. Yes from
me. You both think it's true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very pleased to tell you that it's true. Snakes do have friends.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Shout out to snakes.
It's a very cute article. It's a very cute article in National Geographic. Just studying animal friendships, basically. And snakes are like the most recent animal to be shown definitively to have best friends.
Not just friends, but best friends.
Best friends, man.
And there's a very cute picture of a couple of snakes just chilling together.
Oh, that's cute.
That's awesome.
All right, here we go. A new form of compass is being developed for Antarctic travel.
That's fake.
Yeah, it's fake.
Because why would they need a new compass? What's wrong with the compasses we have now?
What's wrong?
The Earth's magnitude and the
Earth's magnitude. Poles. Good one, Henry. What? Can you please tell me more about the magnitude of the Earth?
Of course not. That's not this section. But no, yes, this is a fake article.
Hooray! That was it. That was. I mean,
he's done well.
I don't want to roast you on air, but that was your form is usually somewhat better.
I mean, I wrote these notes a lot closer to the recording time than most often than recently often.
Yeah. I mean, the Earth, it do be how it is. That magnitude, it'll get you.
It's Scooby Dooby Dooby.
Yeah.
Who's losing?
I mean,
is it my last one?
Yeah, it's you.
It's you shit. Still. Okay, here we go.
Wait, who's winning?
No, we're not done yet. Mitch has one more.
We're not finished. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks. It's so wholesome now. 5-inch long. 5-inch long dragon's horn grown from man's back. That isn't the beginning of a haiku. That's the headline.
5-inch long dragon. That wouldn't even be a haiku. It's not the right syllables.
I can't do it. Sorry.
It sounds like one of those clickbait articles that comes with a photo of like a horn coming out of a back that isn't actually a horn. You know those ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
I always feel like it's too bizarre to have made up.
Yeah.
I don't know, because dragons aren't real.
What?
You know?
This is how I find out.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to say it's false.
Mm.
I'm going to say, I don't know though. I'm going to answer in the form of a haiku.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
I think that this piece
Good.
is factual. Yeah?
Ooh.
Wait, no, that was 2 5s. That was completely
fives, yeah. I was counting out. I was like, what? Where's the 7? Where's the 7?
Wait, no, let me try. No, it's fine. We can move on.
We'll leave.
Doesn't make for good radio.
All right.
No, it's good.
Split answer. It's a split answer, man.
New section, psychos.
Hey, hello.
Oh, shit, that's so good.
We're doing it.
Oh, fuck, that's good.
We're doing it. It's happening after. Stick around for the extended. I'm going to do a 90s style throw to the after show. Stick around and find out with our cool psychos.
Oh no!
So what was the what was
it was a split decision.
Yeah. So I said it's false, and Henry said it's true. Wait, no, other way around. Sorry.
Other way around.
Okay.
I forgot what I even thought.
The haiku was too much.
All right. I will be taking one shot because absolutely true.
What?
It's true.
Yep, and not the first time that it's happened. So these things are called cutaneous horns. Yeah, and they happen a bit more after people with in elderly people or older people if they've already had a bit of a skin lesion.
Oh,
It's okay though because they're made of compacted keratin, which is the same stuff that's in your fingernails.
Oh, I was worried for a second.
Yeah. And it's not the first time because an elderly lady was the one. I don't know why I said lady. An elderly lady was the last one, and she grew one out of her face.
What?
Amazing. Yep. So you can look it up. So there was a old lady who grew a horn, one of these what they call conical horns in the biz, out of her face. And old mate that we've just been talking about doesn't say his name, but yeah. Yep.
Look at that.
5-inch horn out of your back. When did he go to the doctor? That's what I wanted to know.
Probably when it reached 3 inches, right? Because that's when you got to start thinking.
We'll need to probably stop the record. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
That's fine.
It's okay. We caught a potential fire alarm.
I want the full, rich experience of this. But yeah, if you've got a horn growing out of yourself, it may be an indication of skin cancer. So go and get the horn taken off.
Go and get the horn taken off.
Stop growing horns.
Honestly, if I have a horn growing out of me, I think skin cancer is the least of my concerns. Like, my first reaction isn't going to go to a doctor. It's going to go to a priest.
And on that note, we finished the round with myself sitting on a very nice -6.
You did it.
He came well prepared. He did it. Caitlin's on -5.
Woo!
Can you believe this? We were discussing this before the show that Mitch never seems to be in front anymore. He is in front on -3. Ooh, what a time as we head into the next round.
Dun, dun, dun. Bit of sound effect.
All right, Caitlin, give us your haiku before we get this rolling.
All right. This is the section in which we play a fun sound. Autumn leaves still fall.
Nice. All right, let's count it in.
I love it.
All right, next section, the sound of science. We have all.
Can I just compliment you on that name? Oh, I'm sorry, I just interrupted you. I just wanted to tell you I really
Do it.
I really like the name of the segment.
Thank you. It's a full props to Helen. Who came up with it. It used to be, what's that sound? And she was like, surely this is the sound of science. And she was right.
It's quite an awkward cut, but yeah, Helen just flexed on us being much funnier. She was on the show.
That's it.
She said, surely, I mean, yeah, you should call it. What are you doing with this? You know, what was it called before?
What's that sound?
Yeah, what a shit name. All right, here we go.
What's that sound? More like, what's that shit name? But, you know, it's not the same. So, the sound of science, we've all prepared some audio to be heard. Oh my God, was that it? Was that your sound, Caitlin? The fire alarm going off again?
We all know what it's like on Zoom.
Here we go. Let's go. Third take.
For those of you with the Zoom bingo sheets, if you've got like dog barking, fire alarm, child, like car pulling in, bin van, truck.
That's it.
You know what the fuck I mean.
That's it.
Here we go.
Here we go. 3, 2. And we're back. The Sound of Science. What a great, great name for our next segment. We have all prepared even a piece of audio from any time in science history to do in any way to science. And we're going to play it to the other two, and they're going to guess as to what it is. Maximum of 5 points can be awarded for this. You can award less depending on how close they are to the actual sound, because we're assuming it's going to be quite specific to begin with, and no one's really going to get it very accurately. So, with that said, Caitlin, do you want to kick us off?
Oh, hell yeah.
What is your sound for us?
All right, you listening close, folks?
We're listening close, folks.
Right, I'm ready.
All right.
Let's keep Singapore healthy. For your own safety and for those around you, please stand at least 1 meter apart. Thank you.
I saw Mitch's reaction during that. I think he just straight up knows this. Wait, if you do, I feel like I should guess first then, right? Because I don't just steal off your idea straight away.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. I think. See, part of me thinks I should just go with the most obvious answer here, which is just a train station sound, maybe in Singapore, with the people saying the words as a train goes by. But I'm probably wrong. Mitch, what's the real answer?
It's also my sound, so I'm frantically trying to find another sound.
Why does this keep happening to us?
I know, it's incredible. How do we not know how to do a show?
You know what? The warning sign was at the beginning when we were saying, kind of giving clues to what our sounds were, and you were kind of like, mine might be easy to guess, but I think it's cool. And I said, mine might be easy to guess, but I think it's cool.
Man, this is the what? This is the third time out of 5 episodes.
No. I think I want to hear your explanation more, and then I can maybe elaborate a bit, and we'll try and piece together the wreckage of this show afterwards.
Yeah, we'll figure out the scoring afterwards. I think. Let's.
We might need to go to Wacky Words.
We're doing that anyway. It's an extended cut. It's fine. We'll play around with it. Caitlin,
I need to push it forward to get a little bit more equity in the stuff.
Caitlin, what is the sound?
The sound is of a Boston Dynamics robot called Spot the Dog. If you're not familiar with Boston Dynamics, they make these really cute robots that you can't knock over. So there's lots of really fun videos where people try and kick them over and stuff. Yeah, and they don't get knocked over. And it's kind of like a little dog. And at the moment, they've let it loose in this park in Singapore, and it just plays this recording of this woman telling you to please stay inside.
That's hilarious. That's great.
Yeah, it's some totally dystopian stuff. Like it's not just like walking around and like vaguely just shouting it. It's not an automated message. It's actually seeking groups of people out.
Oh yeah, there's videos of it. It's like going right up to people. Can I also just tell you the title of the article I got this from?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do it.
Spot the robot dog. Now a social distancing narc is freaking people out.
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, I have a proposal for how we can figure out this segment's scoring.
Let's do it.
My proposal here is that I will play my sound.
Yep.
You will both guess my sound. I will reward both of you points in some way, hopefully, and then I will just take the average of that, and that'll just be out 3 points for this segment.
Okay.
Right? I think that's workable.
Yeah,
so,
it can work.
With that being said, here is my sound. I'll play it one more time for you guys.
That's it, huh?
It's short, but there it is.
See, it sounds like a car in neutral.
What do you guys think?
There's a bit of a preamble to it as well, though.
I can tell you it's not a car neutral.
Oh, thank you.
No worries.
That really,
it's really, yeah.
Yeah, that knocks out that guess. really, narrows it down.
That's it.
My best guess besides that is some kind of frog.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Robot frog telling people to socially distance. That's frog for
Stay inside.
1
Your
meter
family
rule.
loves you.
Yeah. Stay inside. Stop the spread.
Kayla's committing to frog. Mitch, what do you got?
I'm going to change mine very slightly. I'm actually going to say toad. I'm going to
Toad.
differentiate myself.
And Mitch, you're not actually committing to robot frog telling you to socially distance, are you?
I absolutely am. How dare you? You mentioned cane toads there. Weird quarantine hobbies, dark corners of the internet, actually got their newsletter. You can get a $2,000 clutch, which is like a tiny handbag.
Yeah.
Made of cane toad leather.
What?
Yeah, or at least partially. French designer. It's great. What a time.
Tell
it's
him
amazing.
you're dreaming.
Tell him. Oh, great film. All right, well,
Is it a robot frog?
If Kaylin's committed to a real frog and Mitch for some reason has committed to a robot frog.
They're real. Shut up.
You're both equally wrong, I guess, because it's
I don't think we're equally wrong.
Okay.
Either a robot or it's not.
If anything, Mitch is closer then.
Okay,
if anything, Mitch is closer.
All right.
That's fair.
I'll take it.
Because Mitch, you can have half a point, I guess, because it's robotic.
It's your birthday.
Kaylin can have nothing, and I guess I have 0.25 with this preposition. It was actually the sound of a cylinder being dropped onto a surface of oobleck, but still being able to sink quite quickly.
Hi, I have a question.
You want to know more about this?
I have a question.
You have to say yes.
Yes.
Researchers found that because I'm sure people here have heard of oobleck. It's kind of like a slime variety.
See, that was my question.
Yeah.
How do you make it? Tell the people at home what is it.
The best way to make it.
Everyone who doesn't have children.
That's it. The best way to make
is
it
a science communicator
would be using water and cornstarch and just mixing around. It's what we think of as a non-Newtonian fluid, meaning it doesn't quite do the same thing as other fluids like water and stuff. In this case, it in a simple way changes state depending on how much pressure you apply to it. So if you just like put your hand in slowly, it'll feel very liquidy, but if you punch the oobleck, it'll feel really solid. And these researchers, this happened less than a week ago, they figured out a way to drop a cylinder into oobleck like in a really hard pressure way, but for it still to sink down. They rapidly rotated the mixture's container clockwise and counterclockwise back and forth, and the particles oscillating meant they were no longer in contact, which actually prevented the solid from jamming. Yeah. Cornell University came up with this, and they think it could be useful in industrial processes involving similar fluids, like clogs and tubes with cement, etc.
It made it sound like a frog.
And it sounds a bit like a frog. Or a robotic frog, depending on who you ask.
Sounds a lot like a frog.
1 in 3 will say frog. 1 in 3 will say robotic frog.
1 in 3 science communicators. Yeah. 1 in 3 science communicators say this sounds like a frog.
1 in 3 is concerned as to how one of the other two latched on so quickly to the first answer and twisted it slightly into a less plausible answer. What?
I had nothing.
Well,
nobody was going to get that. If you got that at home, send an email to iamlying@gmail.com.
And you can be our next guest.
Yeah.
What if it's like the scientist who did the experiment on the ooblecks?
Oh no.
Cry
He'll
more.
know. He'll know. If he's listening, he'll like share this podcast on Twitter and everything for us. Or she. I haven't read it. Up Cornell. Okay. So with that being said, the scores are as follows. Not much change, but everyone's improved a little bit, kind of. I'm still sitting in the negatives on negative 5.75. Caitlin's on -5, and Mitch is on -2.5, meaning we actually are all within range of each other going into the final segment. How
Incredible. Good. All right. Count us in. 1, 2. No, that's not how it works. 5, 4. Welcome back to the final round of this socially distanced episode of your favorite comedy, science, and drinking enthusiast.
Well, let's not go that far. I'm sure we're only like third or something, and they're listening.
Yeah, true. Well, it's probably...
You're my favorite.
Oh,
It's climbing. Thank you. So this is the main segment, the main event, Science Under the Influence.
there it is.
So in this round, each member, or each person joining us, so Henry, I, and our lovely guest, Caitlin, is going to share prepared information on a science story that occurred in the last month of science history. I'll then have 5 minutes maximum to explain the story as concisely as they can, despite our increasing state of being a bit pissed. Yeah, before then taking one question from each other person. The scoring is 1 point for your explanation that is understood by the other contestants, and 1 point each for answering questions from the others to like a reasonable extent. So I believe it is guest goes first.
It's always guest goes first.
Always guest goes first.
Caitlin,
excellent.
If you're ready,
the
time
starts now.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about this very cool and very interesting and sort of dark phenomenon that I think many people might have heard of recently, which is called COVID dreams. So a lot of people in the last few months have been reporting that they've been having weird, particularly vivid dreams ever since basically the entire COVID and isolation thing started. And it's so cool to me that there's this massive people, including myself, which is why I thought this was such a cool story, who has been having these kinds of really weird specific dreams. So it was particularly vivid dreams ever since isolation started. So a couple of the theories from psychologists who study dreams of their understanding of why this is happening. There's a few kind of different theories which don't necessarily conflict with each other, but I'll just outline them. One is usually your dreams, all the time, your dreams come from your experience of the world. You only dream about things that are based on your experience of the world, just very, very warped. And because people are suddenly completely devoid of the kinds of massive experiences that they would usually see in their everyday life, suddenly their experiences, their outward stimulus has been so reduced. Their subconscious, I suppose you could call it, is forced to go towards much further back memories to come up with dreams, basically, or base it on current stuff. So I think that's really cool. These kinds of things, it's very, very hard to study dreams. So it's really hard to kind of come up with a scientific hypothesis that's really based in positivistic facts about that kind of thing. I think that's a really cool theory. Another theory is simply that people are just sleeping more. And if you're sleeping more and more regularly, your dreams are going to be your sleep patterns are going to cause your dreams to be different and more memorable. So many people remember dreams consistently, and some people don't remember dreams so consistently, are able to remember their dreams more consistently. I think that's about it. Do you want to hear about my COVID dream? Have I got time?
I was going to ask that as a question.
Yeah. You got time.
But
do it as part of the story, because you don't have to answer his question. He has to come up with another one. Go.
Sorry, you guys froze off for me.
Oh, no. You're good.
Tell us about your COVID dream.
Okay. So I've had 3 dreams in the last week that I was in the Baltic countries.
Oh, damn.
And it's going from order from north to south. So first I had a dream about going to Latvia, and then I had other way around, Estonia, Latvia, and then presumably tonight I'll dream about Lithuania.
Nice.
And then the only other thing I dream about is work.
That's the episode title. That's the episode title is Dreams of Lithuania.
Dreams of Lithuania.
That's the episode title.
We're going to get some listeners who think this is some random podcast that is not related to science at all.
Just a tourist plug.
Yeah, some weird tourist podcast, yeah.
Lithuania is real nice.
That's it.
I want to go. Anyway, you were great. That's you're well in time.
Yeah, well enough. That makes sense. It made
Love
sense.
that.
We'll give you a point for that. I've got a question. What defines a COVID dream?
What defines a COVID dream?
As in what generally might, right? Because you brought up how people are having COVID dreams, and that seems to be a general thing that has been established. But how or rather just how are they different to a regular dream, maybe?
The difference is, from what I've read, if people were defining it, is that it's particularly vivid dreams that have happened after COVID, from people who don't usually have very vivid dreams.
Right, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Take that point. You're good.
Aww.
Mitch, what do you got?
I suppose I'm just trying to be a good science communicator, podcaster person. You mentioned a specific term there, which I really I think is important that people understand, which was positivism. So positivism in the context of scientific research or writing, I think it's important that people know about that.
That is
so my question is, what are positivism? Who is them and why?
Learn us.
Learn us.
Where and why is positivism? Positivism is a research epistemology.
Oh, hello. The theory of knowledge. Let's go.
Yeah.
Epistemology, how we generate knowledge and
how we generate knowledge and how we know what we know.
Cool.
It's a particular theory of knowledge that posits, if you will,
ding, ding, she did it.
that only measurable and quantifiable facts can be considered to be valid knowledge. Truly valid knowledge. That's how I would define it, and it'd be most kind of most related to quantitative research. So if people know the terms quantitative and qualitative research is research that regards numbers and counting and tallying and measuring. And then qualitative research is which is regarding it comes from the words quantity and quality, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the quality of something, like for instance, if I did an ethnographic interview as an anthropologist, that is qualitative research. That's really getting to the quality of someone's experience. Or I could give them a survey where they rank from 1 to 5 how they feel about something, and that is quantitative.
Nice.
Okay.
Lovely. Are you happy with that, Mitch?
Yeah, big point. Thank you.
Wow.
That's really good.
Big point.
Big point.
Why am I taking a drink? That's not the game.
Just celebrate.
Like
Celebrate your big point.
Celebrate your big point. You've done it.
I secretly actually just like beer.
Go team.
All right. Am I next?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I will start the timer on myself. So, here's the sitch, right? There's this difference in genes, not the ones you wear, the ones in your body. They help explain which animals can get tipsy from alcohol. This is a very meta study I'm bringing up because we are all currently tipsy from alcohol, you see. But the report was by this molecular anthropologist, I'm going to butcher this, Marieke Janiak, from the University of Calgary in Canada.
Shout out to Janice.
That's not it, but okay.
Hey, Janice, like, subscribe. Hit that like bell. Hit that subscribe button.
Hey, Janice gang, checking in. But no, they've done some gene studies, and they found that several different creatures are affected by an independent breakdown of this gene known as ADH7 during their mammal evolution. And basically, if you get this gene, it makes it harder for bodies to break down ethanol, allowing it to build up more easily in your bloodstream. And one of the key animals included in this gene inheritance, elephants. Right? What? This backstory is important because there's been this ongoing debate in science about drunk elephants.
I've heard about that.
Descriptions about elephants behaving oddly after binging on overripe fruit as far back as 1875. There was this taste test that was done, which involves giving elephants drops of water spiked with ethanol, which they drank, and then they decided swaying more and seemed more aggressive. There's been a rebuttal for it. Physiologist Steve Morris argued against it. He provided a calculation that elephants couldn't physically eat the huge amount of fruit necessary to get buzzed. But that calculation was resulted from a human rather than an elephant physiology. So this new insight is just shedding more light into this conversation about elephant drunkenness. And the work was actually inspired, out of all things, by tree shrews. They're these little small mammals that look a bit like squirrels. They have this insane alcohol tolerance.
We'll stop the timer. Just for the record, Henry just did an impression of a tree shrew.
Yeah.
He just did the hands.
It's a tree shrew. Y'all know it's a tree shrew.
We need to start streaming this show. Anyway.
It's a tree shrew. And they have insane alcohol tolerance. So their ethanol concentrations that can fuck us up will not phase them, right? That's their levels. And Another author of this report, Amanda Mellon, she remembered that they were literally just drinking beer on a patio when they came up with this idea of working off this. So even more meta stuff of scientists drinking alcohol.
Yep.
They end up surveying all the mammal genetic information they could find, which indirectly assessed the variety of responses to alcohol. 79 mammal species they looked at, and they found that the ADH7 gene had lost its function in 10 separate spots of the mammal family tree. These animals included elephants, armadillos, rhinos, and beavers. How good. Humans, we have the reverse condition. We have a mutation which makes our ADH7 around 40 times more efficient. So we can just like take it in and not get drunk for a while, but eventually maybe. But yes, because it's in elephants, that old debate about drunk elephants comes back. If they do have the slower capacity for clearing the ethanol, then the smallish amount of alcohol that elephants get from eating this fermented fruit could actually be enough to change their behavior. And the next step now is really just putting their large livers into the investigation equation, because the conversation has in turn been looking at just how large elephants are. And maybe just, well, they're so huge, it could happen, but they're just so huge, we don't know. And that's the next steps. And that's all I've got to say.
Okay, I have like a question for the purpose of the game.
Cool.
Also a side question. Oh, okay, yeah. I would definitely give you a point for that.
Great. He made sense.
That was pretty cool.
Nice.
I'll give you a point. I like that.
He spent his time on the main story, not the headlines.
Got it.
Question, Caitlin?
Okay, so yeah, I have my main question, which is, if animals that are not prone to building up ethanol in their system ingest a lot of ethanol, will they still get sick but not drunk?
It's a really interesting question, right? Because I don't have any information on it here, but like, yeah, I know, but hang on, I can give you some information to do with it, because the tree shoes is what inspired the investigation. But why they can drink?
Sorry, you didn't do the action. I don't know what you're talking about.
The tree shrews.
Yeah,
thank you.
Tree shoes. I got
yeah, that's it. They inspired it. But the reason why they can drink so much, that still remains a mystery. And that has to, because if we move to a different mammal called, I shit you not, AAs or IIs, depending on how you want to say it.
IIs.
IIs. Yeah, they're from
Madagascar.
Madagascar.
They're little lemurs.
I actually know them from that show with Eliza Thornberry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, the Wild
Thornberries. Yeah.
I think he was actually talking about the island of Madagascar. Because
I meant the island of Madagascar. Yeah, they're a little lemur.
They have an incredibly long second digit.
Yeah, they do.
Which is really handy in 2020.
That's it.
They use it to find bugs. Trees.
They have independently evolved that similar kind of mutation that humans have. But tree shrews don't actually have that same kind, right? So in terms of your question of people a species going the other way, if they drink too much, can they just feel sick but not feel tipsy? I don't think we have enough information on it. I know that's a bit of a cop-out, but from what I have, I personally don't think there's enough information on it to answer that question. Because they have to have a very high level, right? And I don't think that's been tested yet on either AAs or tree shrews to properly give you an idea.
Well, you haven't properly answered my question. I do believe that if you had been able to answer it, that would make you a ethanol scientist. So I'll give you a point for that. And thanks. I do have a side question that will not be part of the game.
Cool.
Did you say that? Did you say one of the scientists' names was Amanda Mellon?
Yeah, Amanda Mellon.
Mellon, I'm sure.
Dr. Mellon,
if you were listening.
Dr. Mellon.
Hi.
Your biggest fans right here. That's it. Mitch, you got a question?
Yes. So ADH7.
Yes.
Yep. What does ADH stand for?
That's a great question.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no. The thing is, Is it just the same as ADHD?
Pardon?
No, it wouldn't be the same as ADHD. I'm honestly not quite sure.
It's obviously not.
It's obviously not. Because it's not attention deficit hyperactivity 7.
Definitely
That's definitely not it. I am
Mitch asking the real fucking question.
I do not know, unfortunately. I was kind of banking on the fact that one of you would ask a question about the fruit.
Like
as to which fruit was actually making people
on the side. Wait a minute.
Because none of the fruit I don't make people drunk. You can ask on the side.
Melons?
It wasn't. Amanda Melons? No, it wasn't. It was actually marula fruit.
Sure.
What's that?
It is a fruit that contains alcohol, and the estimates for how much alcohol is in it ranges from 1% alcohol to 7% alcohol.
Why are we not researching this? I've never even heard of them.
Does it grow on the tree with alcohol in it?
Yeah. So
what
scientists
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, okay, I know for a fact that someone would have already been tapping into that market. Doesn't make any sense.
No, because the reason I know it grows somewhere with the alcohol in it is because once it drops to the ground and gets fermented, scientists have discovered that it increases the alcohol more by 3%. Right? So it can't drop to the ground and be fermented and increase by 3% if it's not already on the ground, right? It has to be grown somewhere.
It could increase by 3% from 0.
From 0%? It's kind of how percent
It
works.
ranges from 1 to 7% as how much alcohol is in it.
So it's like 0 to 5 on the
real
tree.
Fruit.
Or, math, so 0 to 4.
You say it's marula, M-A-R-U-L-A?
M-A-R-U-L-A.
I'm getting some marula fruit.
That's something that marula oil is used in like hair care and skincare products. So I have actually heard of that.
This isn't the round where I maybe lie about something, right?
No,
I'm just giving you facts.
I'm just.
So ADH, I knew it, and I was surprised that I knew it, especially in my like whiskey haze. ADH is alcohol dehydrogenase.
Oh, great! I was never going to guess that. Cool.
Way back in the Rolodex there, but that's the thing that breaks down ethanol.
Is dehydrogenase something you could put in a sandwich like mayonnaise?
Yeah. Like Dijonase. Dehydrogenase.
Great. I'm happy to cop the lack of point from Mitch because I don't think I'm going to win this anyways.
Oofed.
And I'll just take the 2. Mitch, you're up.
Here we go.
Good luck.
Ready?
Fuck you, Mitch.
So he's going to start every section now. Have you started the timer? You have, haven't you?
I have. Go on.
Fair enough. Every now and then,
okay,
a story comes along in science that just you watch slack-jawed, cannot believe we've finally done it. When I was younger, I remember seeing a video of this is my shtick now. I do these massive tangents and then come in from the wild and I get to the point. I remember seeing a video when I was a young lad of an English publican, amputee he was, which is terrible, trying to peel a boiled egg. Okay? And
this could go in so many routes so far. This is so already.
Because he had a very clumsy prosthesis. Okay?
What?
So
is that how you just say no arms?
He couldn't peel the egg. No. He was an amputee and he had a prosthesis. Okay. And he couldn't peel the boiled egg.
Tell us more.
But now, slack-jawed was I, watching the work of Associate Professor Max Ortiz Catalan from Chalmers University in Sweden, because he's been part of a research study published in the New England Journal of Medicine of 3 patients who for 7 years have been living every day with a prosthesis fully integrated into their bone and neural system that can also detect pressure.
There it is. Big shout out to the mock.
They have a prosthesis that is actually an extension of their body. It is not something that they slide a stump into. It is literally screwed into their bone. It is a part of them. And it's a process called osseointegration. The headline for the story was mind-controlled arm prostheses that feel are now a part of everyday life. So these people, one of which, an ex-truck driver, Ricard, bad accident. Another one with an electrical fault, terrible stuff, different jobs. And they start their conversation by saying, what do you want to do? What do you want to be able to do in your life, considering you've lost the arm? All of these people are upper limb amputees above the elbow, and they've all regained virtually total function.
Wow.
So it's a device called the eOpra, capital OPRA, and it's based on a system created by a company called Interregnum AB. So there are 4 sensors in the thumb, and the neural integration, so the structural part of the prosthesis is drilled into their bone, and the nerves that are remaining in the stump are connected to the prosthesis.
Wow.
And it actually, they don't need to learn how to use it per se. It gets better over time, but they can just use it after implantation exactly the same way that you're able to use our arms. Incredible. So the implantation of it took place at somewhere called Sahlgrenska University Hospital, led by Professor Richard Braunmark and Dr. Paulo Sassu. And the implications of it are over 1 million people worldwide suffer from limb loss. So if they get this, it means that those people potentially have access to a technology that will allow them to peel a boiled egg once again.
That's so inspiring. Yeah. Nice. That made sense. I was really concerned I was going to reach some weird territory with your starting story, but it just became really wholesome at the end.
When you started it, I kind of assumed you just hadn't done your research and you were just making it up on the fly.
No, all of that was 100% true.
No,
and I remember looking back to being a kid and feeling like a real, in retrospect, a total asshole, thanks 2020 hindsight, because I'm looking at this person trying to peel a boiled egg and I'm like, oh, how awful. Prostheses are never going to be able to do that. What a shit life. Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong. Watch the video for this. The work of Max Ortiz, I will say, right?
Yeah.
Before you ask.
Okay.
No, in fact, I hope that one of you asks it. But I will say, the sky's the limit with this technology.
Yeah. That's good.
That's real cool.
Look, I think he made sense.
Yeah, you
got very feel good near the end as well, so that was really nice.
I liked the narrative that ran through it.
That's it. I have a question for Mitch.
Ooh,
so the guy's name was, what was it? Max
Ortiz.
The full name?
Catalan.
Max Ortiz Catalan?
Yeah.
Or the mock to his friends?
Associate professor. The mock, yeah.
The mock to his friends.
Notorious MOC.
Yeah, that's it. Notorious MOC. What do you know? What inspired him to start this 7-year-long study? Study? No, investigation.
No,
case.
yeah,
Let's go with case.
He was involved with doing the research study for it, not the implantation. But he wanted to address the problem of limb loss. Okay. That's his whole thing. And it gives me a chance to answer the question I wanted to answer too. So I'll give you a bit of a politician answer here. So he wanted to address the problem of limb loss for sure. And after starting the work and doing the research on it, lots of people on the internet, you'll be shocked to know, in comments fields have started saying, oh, they're trying to make the Terminator. Yeah. They're trying to give people these super-powered robot limbs. And we'll share the video where you can watch this for yourself. But he says, well, it's possible, but that's not what I'm interested in. He's just interested in getting people back to their state of functionality. He's not really keen on that kind of stuff. So all this defense contract out-of-the-box craziness, that wasn't his motivation. He just wants to get people able to do whatever it is that they did before. I'll tell you what, watching a guy with a prosthetic, like a neurally linked robot arm change a car battery, that restored my faith in humanity. I was like, yeah, we did it. We did.
Plus.
We did something. Yeah.
That's it. Take it. That's a point. You can have it. Caitlin, what do you got?
Oh, that story was so cool. I've got 3 things to say.
Is one of them a question?
Yes, the middle one is my question.
Okay.
So the first thing I want to say is I'm properly drunk now. I just wanted to let you know.
Great.
Okay.
The extended cut's going to be fun.
Be lit.
My question is, how many people in total have received this this treatment so far? This osteo implant, and also technology? Yeah, the full technology. And then is it something that is potentially going to be something that all people in the world who are experiencing limb loss would be able to adopt?
So the answer to the first question is 3.
Sorry, I asked 2 questions.
No, that's cool. The answer to the first question is 3.
Yeah.
And they've had it for 7 years. So it's a really longitudinal study. And the process of osseointegration, they actually drill it into the bone, and the bone grows and grafts onto the implant. So it effectively is totally fused. So it takes quite a long time to heal and, for nerves to catch up, et cetera, et cetera. So this kind of study was necessary. Second question, accessibility to other people, or the million people suffering from limb loss. Mock, Notorious MOC, covered this in an interview for it, where he was saying that once they've got, which they've done now, this was published on April 29, they've done it. The proof of concept is there. New England Journal of Medicine, that's the Rolling Stone of, scientific or medical research.
It's a big one.
Well, whatever is better than the Rolling Stone. Whatever, I don't know, the highest quality. NEJM is where it's at for medical research. Now that that's out, it means that the proof of concept is there, and it can be taken to governments and healthcare systems to say, this is available if you fund it for the people that need it. And he's already getting emails and requests from people around the world saying, we'd love this technology, because prosthesis vary greatly in quality and, utility around the world. So hopefully, look, in a perfect world, everyone would have one tomorrow that needed it. And they're already working actually on lower limb stuff. So, people who have lost legs, which is disturbingly common in some parts of the world. And working as well with lower limb amputation, because there are, I don't know if, anatomy stuff, but there's a big, thick bone at the top of your arm, and there's 2 slightly less thick ones in the bottom part. If you lose your arm in the bottom part, it's sometimes tricky to get an implant. But they're working on that too.
How good. What a nice feel-good story to end this round.
That was such a good article,
That's
Mitch.
it. How good. Well, you get the full 3 for that. Yes. And I think we'll head towards the final scores.
Oh.
All right, that brings us to the end of this official episode, or more or less the end. We got some music coming up afterwards. But I think we should have a look at the scores. And in no surprise at all, your boy Henry is sitting on negative 3.75, coming in a hasty third. We have Caitlin sitting on negative 2, did a solid job. And the only person to break even tonight, he's done it, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, he's taken a win home for himself. Mitch is sitting on positive 0.05 points.
Got the W.
Did you just say positive? You got positive point?
Positive 0.05. He's done it. He scraped through.
I don't think my brain can even understand positive numbers.
We've been around with the negatives for too long, but Mitch has broken out. It's all right. Congratulations, Mitch. You finally won one in the official season.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you have anything to say to our viewers about more social media and things before we keep this running?
Yes.
Social media is an aspect of our world.
It is.
It's true. And you know what? On that note, before we get to socials, I think we should definitely thank Caitlin for joining us for the official episode.
Absolutely.
Caitlin, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful to have you back for
this. Snaps for Caitlin.
Big snaps for Caitlin.
Snaps! I love that.
If you guys head to our YouTube channel, you'll be able to hear an extended cut of more intoxicated shenanigans we're going to get up to after this part of the show is done. But Mitch, socials. You've got some social media information for us. It's not hard. It's the same name everywhere.
So if you've got like complaints or or more complaints, you can send them. You can send them to Science Under the Influence at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Very cool. And we're also on other social media platforms as either Science Under the Influence or SUI Podcast. So our Twitter handle is at SUI Podcast. Or we're on Facebook at Science Under the Influence. We've got a page there. So please send us an email, tune in. We're also on YouTube.
Yeah.
On the Science Under the Influence. Once we get our act together, I think Henry's sorted this.
Yeah, no, we're definitely on YouTube now. If any of you are listening from any podcast platforms, whether it be Spotify or is Apple Podcast still a thing at this point? Do they exist? Sure, why not? Sorry, Steve. Do us a favor and he's dead.
Steve Jobs, I got you.
Do us a favor and give us a quick review so people can recognize that we do the things and we're not just some random podcast that has no listens to.
Yeah. Share with your friends, you know. We love you. We love every listener listening to this.
That's absolutely true.
We're going to make it, you guys. We're going to make it to 2021.
We're going to make it. We're going to do good.
Honestly, as the guest, if you're not liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell, I'm coming for you.
Kayla's coming for your personal vendettas are out. All that's left for the official episode is for me to introduce the music guest. I hope you guys join us for the extended cut on YouTube. But otherwise, they are Canberra's best-known climate change-aware funk band. Their grooves are as deep as the Marianas Trench, and the energy is as high as global temperatures. You can find them on Triple J Unearthed and on all major music platforms. From their album, Al Gore Rhythms, they are An Inconvenient Groove. This song is titled Science. For Science on the Influence, I have been Henry, I've been joined by Mitch, and our wonderful guest, Caitlin, and we'll see you guys soon.
When you came into work today after having a hearty wheat big breakfast, some Vegemite on toast and a small but nutritious banana, you didn't realise that today was the most important day of the rest of your life, the day that you met the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. You look over during the meeting while you were actioning some research-oriented results, and you realise that this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, and quickly you get together, you get married, you have a couple of kids, you own bicycles that are of the same brand but different colours to make it individual. Until one day you realise that this love of your life denies the science of climate change. And at this point there's only really one thing you can do to them. You have to look at them in the eyes and tell them straight, you can deny our love, but don't deny the science. Don't deny the science. Don't deny the science. Don't deny the science. Science. This is one thing we can't put behind us. I didn't help you sleep with my friend Michael, but now you're denying the Milankovitch cycles, because you can't deny our love. Don't deny the science. You can't burn all my clothes, don't burn fossil fuels. You can deny our love, but don't deny the science. The climate threshold factors have been exceeded, and my love for you has been depleted. Global warming's happening without warning. When I break up with you, I won't be mourning, because
They need to write a musical. Seriously.
Oh, good, right? How good.
Holy shit.
That slapped.
Slaps, man. Let's go.
Slap. 3 slaps. Slaps and snaps for Al Gore rhythms.
Let's go. That's
What's
the
the
album
band?
name.
An Inconvenient Groove?
An Inconvenient Groove, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
An Inconvenient Groove. God. I feel like you could get like
Jeez.
12 of the Earth's greatest geniuses together in a boardroom for 12 hours to come up with a name for a band that is as good as that, and they wouldn't have done it.
We love you, An Inconvenient Groove. Let's go.
So good.
Okay. Extended cut stuff.
Let's do it.
We are so gone, and we only have more material. And
This is the
that's-
championship rounds. This is the midnight hour.
Round.
You know what they say?
You want to give up your like
More. That's what they say.
They want more. The people want more, so we have
Want
more
more.
here.
I want
Thank you to An Inconvenient Groove for that wonderful tune. We have some more of them at the end of
This is great.
this cut as well.
Great.
I think we should go old school. Play an old school game.
Let's do it.
Wacky words.
Wacky Words.
Oh, I reckon we do. I reckon we do Das Wacky Words.
Das Wacky words.
Der Wacky
Kick
Words.
off
Der Words of
this
Wacky.
podcast. Okay.
Der Words ist Wacky.
So this is. It's funny because we say this is old school, and yet this is probably our shortest running segment. That
Great,
it wasn't even
Fan
old
favorite.
school. Like this
Fan
wasn't
favorite.
this wasn't
Nobody's
a thing
told
when-
us, but you're welcome.
This wasn't a thing when Caitlin was workshopping it with us, and it's no longer a thing now that she's back. So it's probably our shortest running game.
Yeah, I actually have no fucking clue what we're doing.
Let me tell you, Caitlin. So
Tell
each contestant
her, Mitch.
offers four words. That's what 4 looks like. Great radio. I'm holding up 4 fingers, I think.
Is.
3 of which have a scientific relation, and one of which
Ooh.
is completely made up. Completely made up. While having to pronounce the words correctly, no explanation for each word is needed until after the game is done.
Yes.
Okay.
You may be asked to spell your word, but that is all. We cannot ask for anything else.
Guess
All
who's
right.
first?
Y'all want to kick us off, Caitlin? Give us 4 words.
Your time starts now.
It's very bold of you to assume I had actually prepared words for this. Shit. I actually haven't prepared words for this. I'm sorry. I
Great.
thought you guys were going to
That's
have
okay.
words.
I'll do it.
I can go first.
I'll do it. Mitch will do it, and you guys can, and y'all guess. We don't know
Yep.
what we're doing anymore.
Well,
I
that's a
can
good
get
idea,
one
actually.
super.
Grips
I can
out,
get some
man.
words. Is it 3 words? 3.
4.
Let's get some ASMR going.
words.
Here's me crunching a piece of paper. There it is.
Okay.
It's being thrown out of the...
I
You
can
go,
get some
you go.
super quickly, but
Okay.
you guys go first.
My 4 words, real chill, real simple. So I go easy on us for this. They are just 4 different kinds of penguins. One of them isn't a real penguin.
Okay.
All right? We have.
This is my life. This is what it's come to. Anyway,
We have
let's do it.
the eastern rockhopper penguin. We have the macaroni penguin. We have the erect crested penguin.
The what?
The erect crested penguin. And we have the chin strap penguin. Those are your 4.
I think the macaroni penguin is fake.
What do you think, Mitch?
I'm going to go erect crest.
The correct answer for the incorrect word, penguin, worded penguin, is actually the most generic one. The eastern rockhopper penguin is not real.
Oh,
Yeah, there is a northern rockhopper penguin and there is a southern rockhopper penguin, but there is no east or western rockhopper penguin. The other 3 penguins all exist. We name animals funny because we're god to them.
I have 1 point to make about that. I reckon that there probably are some penguins in the east
Some rockhopper penguins
hop
in
rocks.
the east.
hop on rocks and are therefore eastern rockhopper penguins.
I'm shenaniganizing.
That's it.
So I too have gone with a theme, Penguin
Okay.
Man.
Is it also penguins?
No, it's not also penguins. No, I'm not going to have another terrible folks pass. I know it's faux pas. Like the Sounds of Science before. No. All of my words start with P.
Yes.
Here we
Okay,
go.
I'm excited.
First one. plagioclase. Or plagioclase. I don't know, depending on who you talk to.
Spell it.
Plagioclase.
Okay.
Second word. Paresthesia.
Okay.
Fourth word.
What?
Pyroxic.
Hang on.
Oh. All right, so we got plagioclase or plagioclase.
That wasn't a bit, right? You straight up just said fourth word as if you'd said 3 words.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah. I got
Okay,
you.
cool.
Yeah. Paresthesia, that was the second word. So third word, here it comes. Pyroxic. Fourth word, piloerection.
Part of me thinks piloerection is the most legitimate of the 4.
Yeah, me too.
Piloerection.
Right?
Because apparently there's a perfectly realistic erect penguin. So why not an erect pyro?
Its crest is erect. Other parts of its body may not be, but its crest, erect. All times.
I don't know if penguins swing that way. I don't know.
What, to get an erection?
Yeah, I don't know if they have. I don't know. I don't know a lot about bird penises.
I think
Not
at
in my
least
skill set.
50% of penguins get an erection.
I know a bit about echidna peni and duck peni, but
Duck
Peni.
duck
duck peni
penises.
are messed up.
They're swirly boys,
I
right?
completely believe anything you'll say because you use peni as like a plural of penis.
Duck peni are swirly boys, and I think I learnt this from
Swirly boys.
literally. It was either one of our last. It was either Helen or Dan, one of our past guests, that told me this like 4 years ago.
Dan.
Probably Dan.
If anyone is ever going to get their PhD in peni,
penises,
it's Dan. Yeah.
That's it. I think it's the first one. I think it's plagioclase.
Cool.
Plagio what?
Plagioclase.
I think it's plagioclase.
Okay.
Caitlin,
Yes.
what do you think it is?
What was the one that was the second one?
Paresthesia.
I think it's that one, paresthesia. Because it sounds just like random Greek words put together by Mitch.
Mitch, what is it?
The bollocks one was pyroxic.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, gotcha. So plagioclase is, of course, a series of tectosilicate minerals within the feldspar group.
Of course.
Paresthesia, you should know all about, beloved guest, because it's a morbid or abnormal sensation such as burning, prickling, or formication. So it's the feeling of like having a dead limb, or pins and needles is what most people call it.
Huh.
Yeah, formication is the fancy medical term for having the feeling of insects crawling on you.
I think I should mention, when we weren't recording, Caitlin told us about how she wasn't feeling her leg today, and that wasn't just some weird attempt at sexual harassment by Mitch.
No, yeah, true. Yeah. She was on Zoom and sitting on her leg weird.
Yeah,
we're probably going to leave that in the recording. So
that's fine.
I like the throwback.
We'll figure it out.
Pyroxic, as said, was a total lie. And piloerection, it's hairs standing on end. It's just the fancy name.
Oh, I feel like I knew about this. Yeah. Okay.
Because I think the hair bit is called a pilus. Don't quote me. Pilo something. I don't know. Pilo means hair, erection, standing up.
That's it. I mean, at this point, I feel like we've almost reached the point of meta gameplay with this game where if you say it's like penis something or erect something, people will instantly believe that's a true word. I don't think we're there yet, but I think we're close. And someone's just got to jump on it.
Because it's got the silly penis word in it.
Because it has the silly penis word in it.
Yeah.
And because we had Sex Tractor last episode.
Sex Tractor last time, yeah.
I'm sorry, you had what?
Sex Tractor.
I should have listened to the episode.
You should have.
Everyone knows about Sex Tractor. Yeah.
Dude, I'm missing out.
Yeah.
Everyone knows about Sex Tractor. It's the world's premier astronomical software.
That's sure.
If you want to extract a star from a picture, what do you need?
Sex Tractor.
S-Extractor. Sex Tractor.
That's actually right.
That's true, yeah.
I'm surprised you remembered. I was going to say at the end, Mission's just drunk, and that's not true. But I was like, no, hang on. That is what it was. Yeah. That's absolutely true.
That's very funny.
Pat did his job. Came in here to tell us about stars. I remembered a thing.
All right. The other thing we're gonna have a play with tonight is a real quick round of Sci-Lies, but just on my end of things. So a different old school game we had where at the time it was all the people on the podcast would present a sentence about a science story from any time in history. The other two would ask a question each about it and then decide together if it was a true or false story. Before this moved to the extended cut, we changed it to a 30-second long spiel, and that's what I'm doing here for you guys. I've got a 30-second long story that may or may not be true for you, and you both get a question each to ask me about the story, and you have to work together and agree on an answer for this. Here is my 30 seconds. In the 1970s, British Foreign Secretary David Carrington secretly conducted a sociology experiment involving bouncy balls. He wanted to see if ambassadors from different countries would react to his inappropriate bouncing of the ball during meetings. He discovered that a large amount of ambassadors from Eastern countries would not question his actions out of respect for his title, while large sums of Western diplomats would instantly inquire about the ball. They would ask further even when Carrington would state that he doesn't want to talk about it. Carrington had his results published in a British science journal, stating that it offered valuable insight into professional interactions between cultures. Work together, friends. Decode this paragraph.
That's very interesting.
It is very
like the kind of thing that sociologists would do.
It's the kind of thing that sociologists would do. It sounds like something that it might be quite difficult for Henry to come up with.
Wow. Okay.
No, he's cunning. He's cunning.
He's cunning. You sure?
He'll get you. Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
I will never forget the Da Vinci bird shenaniganizing.
Okay.
He's very cunning. I know that he looks like he's 12. Right. Don't let that fool you. Don't let the boyish good looks.
So small.
Too kind.
Small. Don't let that fool you.
Okay.
I mean, he was born last Thursday, but he's still.
No.
Yes. Yeah.
You guys have a question each.
Okay.
You just have to agree on the question because you're working together here.
I have a dumb question.
Is that one of the two? You have to agree on this because you're both agreeing. You have to both agree on the answer.
Yeah, I know. Go.
Oh, no. I'm not going to do that question. It was just a question that I would have been able to answer through, listening comprehension. Okay, let's do a real question.
Do you want me to read it to you again? Will that help?
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the 1970s, British Foreign Secretary David Carrington secretly conducted a sociology experiment involving bouncy balls. He wanted to test if ambassadors from different countries would react to his inappropriate bouncing of the ball during meetings. He discovered that a large amount of ambassadors from Eastern countries would not question his actions out of respect for his title, while large sums of Western diplomats would instantly inquire about the ball. They would ask further even when Carrington would say that he doesn't want to talk about it. Carrington had his results published in a British science journal, stating that it offered valuable insight into professional interactions between cultures.
It makes sense to me that, let's say, if I was in a meeting with someone from, a very different culture from my own in the 1970s, that if they did something super fucking weird, I just wouldn't question it. But, I don't know, if someone from my own culture did something super fucking weird in a meeting, I also wouldn't question it if I was a diplomat.
You guys have a question each? What do you got for me?
What kind of countries, Mitch, I'm going to ask what kind of
countries. No, that's cool. Yeah, that's good.
So it's Eastern countries, yeah. What do you mean by Eastern countries?
There were Eastern and Western
Very
countries.
different.
So the Eastern countries that were involved in this included all countries from a similar part of that continent too. So we had China, Vietnam, Thailand, and then in reference to Western countries, they looked at parts of the EU. So there was Germany involved in this. There was also, hang on, let me double check. There was Germany. There was, Germany, Spain, and there was also Ireland amongst the ones he quoted in what I looked at.
It all started to come unstuck for me with Carrington.
Oh,
Carrington.
Yeah, so Carrington's a very, very, very common English-sounding surname. Maybe too common, Henry.
I'm not quite sure how you can get a question out of this.
Maybe too common.
But
so David Carrington. Just David Carrington.
I'm surprised you haven't asked about like the actual experiment itself.
The bouncy ball diplomat. No, I'll get to that.
you have one question left. What do you mean
You've obviously never seen any like old school crime show. You know, This is getting everybody together in front of the fireplace. I'm just puffing at my pipe.
He's ready.
Twisting my moustache.
I know what you mean about that name, but like English people do have names like that.
They do, yeah.
Have you ever met an English person?
Several times. Yeah.
You met the same guy several times, or you met several English people?
Both, yeah. One of my favourite shows is hosted by a bloke called Hugh Fernsley Whittingstall. So yeah, I get it. Here's my thing. What was the response variable? How did he record whether or not people had asked about it or taken notice or whatever? What was the...
Great question. So in his report of this, he admitted that part wasn't as controlled as it could have been, purely just because it was based on like general communication with someone. You can't really control how a conversation happens, right? But in a point where he deemed deep enough into the conversation, he would just casually open his drawer, grab out his little bouncy ball, and for approximately like 2 to 5 minutes, he would continue his conversation while still either bouncing the ball on the ground next to him or just like bouncing on the wall next to him, right? And in those 2 to 5 minutes, he would see if anything happened. Yeah, and like apparently, like from what he's got here, most of the time with Eastern diplomats, they would just kind of like nod and look a bit awkward, but they wouldn't like call him out on this man who's apparently in charge of like Britain's entire communications with the rest of the world, just casually playing with a bouncy ball that was invented 10 years ago. And instead, well, like Western countries, they just be like, hey, what's with the ball? And he'd be like, it's a thing. And they'd be like, tell us more about the thing. And he'd be like, I don't want to talk about it. And they'd be like, no, but please, you have a bouncy ball for some reason. Why do you? And he'd be like, no, it's okay. And he'd note that down.
I think it's not true.
2 points that I have to make.
I'll give you a third question. How about that?
Oh, fuck off with that.
I'll allow you a third question.
Okay, well, I mean, we'll take it. But like the 2 points I was going to make is I found it suspicious when Henry was like, let me check. And then it was like, click on his mouse to make us...
Yeah.
Or was that a double bluff?
Just a click.
It was me scrolling down on the page and me, like, because my mouse is currently on the Zoom page, so I had to click around to the Microsoft Office page to scroll down.
To his
Word
apparently existent document.
Where he's written down his lies.
Yeah, where he's written down his lies. Yeah, and I don't know. My other question, my other kind of point is, I feel like these kinds of diplomatic situations have stakes that are high enough that you wouldn't do a sociological experiment during them.
Is that a question or is that just a...
No, I'm just talking to Mitch.
Okay.
Yeah, stay the fuck out. But then again, maybe Mr. Hugh Fernley Whittingstall, which is what I'm going to call him now.
David Carrington has much less syllables, but okay.
Maybe he was just like an arsehole. Maybe he's a real person and an arsehole. Okay, what do we want to ask as our third question that Henry has offered us?
Oh man, it's so open-ended. So 1970s.
Sure.
Yeah, 1970s.
Bouncy ball.
Yeah.
Bouncy ball.
Yeah, bouncy ball.
What kind of ball?
High bounce balls. The ones that were created in 1964, 6 years prior. For the decade.
Okay.
Now, the fact that he
it's a
said
lie.
that makes
It's a lie.
Yeah, it's a lie. And the reason I think that's a lie is because he's over-researched it.
Yeah,
He was
that's
really
it.
wouldn't
Yeah,
know that
that's
kind
it.
of detail.
Yeah. You're welcome.
It's a fucking
It's
lie.
a lie. It's a lie.
It's a fucking lie.
I got you, bouncy man.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Oh, excuse me, that's my phone. Genuinely, that was my phone. But yes, that's your final answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a completely made-up story, absolutely.
Yes.
Well done, guys.
See, we can see through your psychological games, Henry.
I was kind of hoping you'd ask
You
about
from
the.
the
I was kind of hoping you'd ask about the journal.
And it's because you had
A British
thought-
science journal.
Yeah.
No, that's too easy.
The reason you wish you'd asked about the journal is because you had like all these elaborate things that you'd thought of already.
kind of. I was going to say that it was the British Journal of Sociological Studies, but it was republished in the British Journal for the History of Science by Cambridge.
Oh fuck!
You would have had us.
The thing is though, there's no way that you would know that if it was actually true.
What do you
I
mean?
don't know that about a single article in the history of
Yeah.
the world.
That's true.
So
and you
the-
could say that we got him by the ball.
Haha. But the inspiration for this fake story came about when I was genuinely researching upon bouncy balls a few weeks ago, and
As you do.
That's
as
your
I do,
quarantine hobby.
yeah, that's why I do this stuff for work. It seems, and a U.S. senator, I think, or something along those lines, had purchased a lot of bouncy balls when they were in huge fashion to give to his staff members to boost morale.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, okay, how can I work off that? Maybe I could do something a bit less known. Let's go across the pond. Let's go to the
Fucking
British
hell.
side of things.
You can
And-
just pay people more money. I got you bouncy balls.
Bitch, you know people like the simple pleasures.
And David Carrington, the name came from, because it was funny, Mitch, when you said that Carrington sounded too familiar. The name David Carrington came from the first name and the last name of two real British foreign secretaries from the 70s.
Holy shit.
Combined together. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Carrington's one of those names, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicely done, guys. You did it.
Best.
Yay, good job.
Such a good time.
Yeah, I spent most of my time not on the headlines, on every other part of this show, if it wasn't obvious.
So
The reason sorry.
No, go on. No, you.
The reason why we smashed that one is because you'd over prepared.
Yeah, maybe.
You were so prepared, you knew so much.
That's it. The big brain was too big.
Yeah. We were like, your brain's too big. Fake.
Fake brain.
All right, and to finish off this extended cut bit, I think, Mitch, you had some questions to ask Caitlin as like this kind of interview style thing.
Yeah.
Something you wanted to commit to? We talked about it once an hour ago, and now I'm bringing it back up because we need to get a bit more time in this extended cut.
Yeah,
No, it's good.
I'm definitely in like a perfectly fine head space, not influenced by any substance at all, to be interviewed.
Great. Mitch, you're up.
So Caitlin and I have worked together in the past. I think we can get away with saying that. And we've had some conversations about other stuff that she does and like hobbies and things like that. And she's been on the show before. So one of those is Caitlin's a really good artist.
Yeah.
And the other one is that she has $1 million idea to start a podcast or at least record a series of specials about applying a Marxist critique to the film Cars, released by Disney Pixar, which I'm still waiting for. That would be phenomenal. I mean, you're the reason that I watched that film in full, just by myself, because I wanted to see what's
You're
up.
making
And
it sound
get
like
it now.
Cars
I get
is a
it now.
bad film, and it's
No, Cars is not a bad film.
But-
Not a bad
It's
film.
applying a
It's definitely not
particular
a bad
lens.
film.
It's a fantastic film, but when you look at it through that lens, there's a huge amount to talk about. So you need to do that show. I'm calling you out. You need to do that show or a series of specials. I believe you were going to call it
Podcast.
Pardon?
Podcast.
Podcast. Yes, podcast. Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
Podcast?
Yeah, podcast. It's like
yeah.
podcast without the T. Podcast.
You could
Podcast.
also call it Das Kaspital. Anyway, so
No, you're thinking Karl Marx.
I am thinking Karl Marx. But yeah, so
with that said, do you have a
Caitlin's
question?
also done. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm getting to it. So Caitlin has also excellent art, particularly stuff around the bushfires, which feel like they happened years ago now. But no, that was the beginning of this year. And the bushfire cartoon was amazing about just how, you shared your experience of that. I say cartoon, I don't know if that's the right term, but you're a fantastic artist. I wanted to talk about your art and your protest a little bit, or your process and protest maybe in a way. What's that about? Where can people see your brilliant art to get kicked off?
People can see my brilliant art on 2 different platforms, Instagram.com and Twitter.com. So my Instagram handle for my art is caitlins.leftist.art. Caitlin spelled CAITLINS. I do take a second. And then my Twitter handle, I actually don't remember. So
we'll link it in the show.
Yeah, please. Yeah. So the unfortunate thing is, with the way that my life has turned out, art has always been a passion for me, but it's just not something I often have time for. But the kind of almost the silver lining of the fires is that I suddenly did have time, because what happened was my job in science communication got furloughed for a few days. Luckily we were paid for it. But what happened, for listeners who don't know, is here in Canberra, where we're recording from, the smoke got so bad that you basically couldn't go outside. It was dangerous to go outside. Yeah, and even recently we've actually heard of the true consequences of that. People lost their lives because of how bad that smoke was. And it was so insane because that smoke was coming from fires that were so far away. And it just the insane scale of how big those fires were, it's just so hard to understand until you just understand how you couldn't see several meters in front of you because the smoke was so bad in Canberra, hundreds of kilometers away. So I did a couple of different artworks. So the way that I chose to express my feelings about this, because I had a few feelings about this, living in this city that is just such a beautiful city, some of the best air quality in the world usually. And I think just a very high quality place to live, a place where if you live here you have a high quality of life. It just suddenly dropped off the planet in a way that no one could have expected living in Canberra. God, I've lived here my whole life and I just couldn't believe the things that were going on. And not only was it this feeling of just sorrow at the way that things were going, but there was just this baseline of anger as well, because these fires, they were a natural occurrence, but not really. There's always human factors. And by the handle on Instagram that I have, which is Caitlin's Leftist Art, you can maybe guess at my political leaning.
Communism.
Yeah. Did you say communism? Well, I don't know. Yeah. So, I also had anger at our right-wing government here in Australia. And so the way that I chose to express that is through comic form. And the reason I like comic form is because you have this dynamism of both images and text, which gives you the best of both worlds in terms of communicating an ideas. And there is this kind of old idea of media being the message. So different messages can be told best in different mediums. And I felt that comic was the best way to tell this message from my own experience, because firstly, I'm kind of I've always been able to do comics. It's something that I'm trained in, basically. And also because the experience that we were all having was both a very visual one, just our everyday experience of the way that we saw the world, and that we what we saw when we looked out the window, what we saw if we tried to go to work, was just so radically different to what we were used to in this really shocking and kind of traumatic way. But also what we were thinking and feeling socially, politically. Our work got shut, which was really upsetting. Yeah. So basically, I did 2 comics. The first one was just a 4-panel comic where I literally looked out the window of my room, and I just used the colors that I saw outside. So I just copied those colors onto digital form. So I use my main form of art is digital art. So I was actually using something akin to Photoshop. It's a free program though. Photoshop's really expensive. And I just talked about how my life had changed in that space of time in which the smoke started rolling in. And then the second piece, because I got some really lovely feedback on that first piece, and I felt like it was really important to record what was happening, because I felt like it was the kind of thing that at the time it just seemed like the biggest thing that could ever happen in the whole world to me. And then I just kind of had this feeling that once it was over, once we didn't have this immediate visual presence of the smoke, people would just forget about it. So I felt like it was really important to record what was happening and record how I was feeling. So I did this ethnography, and if people don't know what an ethnography is, it's like recording of ethnography means like recording of ethno, so like recording of a culture. So it was recording of how people were understanding their subjective experiences during the smoke in Canberra. That's the one I'm most proud of. I think it's really cool. I'm really proud of it. So it utilizes again that visual language of how things look during the smoke, how everything got so different, along with text about how I myself was experiencing it. The word is phenomenologically, which means how you're experiencing a phenomenon. So, so the way that just the smoke being around changed the way that we experience air, the air around us, just the most basic thing that to us usually is completely invisible, but is suddenly all around us and tangible and opaque instead of invisible. And just the way that changed our experience of the way that we walk around and interact with the world around us. Yeah. And I think that almost like one of the worst things about COVID, actually, I'll take that back. Like the worst thing about COVID is the mass deaths.
Yeah, that's been the big downer.
That's been the big downer.
One of the downsides of COVID is that the fires seem like 1,000,000 years ago.
Yeah.
It seems like 1,000,000 years ago. And kind of during the fires, I was almost feeling like the only silver lining that could possibly come from this is action on climate change. Because it's so clearly linked to climate change, and just the things that were happening were so outrageous. They were so infuriating. And I just think that's all gone. Any energy that came from that, any good that could have come from those fires is gone.
Yeah.
No, it's good that you brought it up, because I was just going to mention it's very important that we do not forget how intense the fires were. Because at the time, funnily enough, the story encompasses both of you, because I was housemates with Caitlin at this time, but at the same time I wasn't home much because I was house sitting for Mitch, and so Caitlin did that art when I wasn't home, let's say. But where I was, which was at Mitch's place, Mitch, your dogs like to go outside to go to the bathroom.
They do.
Like to go outside to shit, and
as most dogs do.
As most dogs do, and there was so much concern from me and my partner that they might just go out one night, not come back, and I just have to message their father that their dog is dead, that I have failed in my first attempt to house sit for them. And I think artwork is a really important thing to maintain, to make, and to keep, because I know I've come to visit you, Mitch, after that's happened, and I noticed that you guys had a piece of art from Mick Ashley on your wall. After the fires were done, it was you may have seen, you may not have heard the artist's name, but he made a piece of art which involved Pooh Bear from Pooh's Corner, which from the actual television show, I suppose, Pooh Bear, but also we have this little corner going down from Canberra to Sydney? No, Canberra to
the
the
coast.
South
yeah.
Coast.
coast, known as Pooh's
So,
Corner.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was a really nice piece of art showing Pooh Bear there and all the fire trucks. I think it's really important to
it's-
remember.
Yeah, Mick Astley, like classic sort of local artist, putting down basically what would be in many places a localized response to thank emergency services people who were one of, the big heroes at that time. And yeah, it's really interesting that you brought that up, Caitlin, about the potential for carrying forward and understanding that climate change is a serious thing to be talked about and addressed in the wake of the bushfire crisis being almost subsumed by the not, insignificant human crisis of corona, which is huge, or COVID-19. I suppose the other question that I have dependent on your art is what do you feel, or what do you think would be a good way for people to go forward if they're not, I suppose, a scientific person, or they don't fit within what they believe to be the categories of somebody who does science? How can they get involved with things like science communication or putting out messages about issues that they feel passionate about in different ways? How did you get started with your process? What kicked that off?
Edit that cough out.
No, we'll keep it in. It's fine. Keep
I'm
going.
writing it down.
Could you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's a really long way around. I mean, it was kind of question as a comment. I agree with you briefly that, the COVID-19 has subsumed the climate change stuff that could have come out of the bushfire crisis. I was just thinking out of that and out of what you were saying, with your art being something that seeks to provide this ethnographic account or this phenomenology of what your experience of dealing with that was like. If you're somebody out there listening to the show maybe, or just in general, and you are interested in science and you're perhaps more of a creative person, or you don't see yourself as a science communicator, how did you get started with your practice, and what would you say to them, if they want to get involved with causes like this or putting messages out there?
Yeah. I think that science exists whether you're interested in it or not. And climate change is the science that exists whether you're interested in it or not. We're not interested in the specific sciences. And climate change has so many political implications. Like, I feel like that's maybe the main battleground, probably the main battleground at which we fight climate change is through the political sphere. So firstly, I don't think you need a strong understanding of science to enter the sphere at all. And I think you can make arguments about what needs to be done about climate change with only the base understanding that it exists, and that is something that I think hopefully most people understand. Like, you don't need to know the basic, like the specifics
chemistry
of
and blah blah.
Yeah, the chemistry and the geology and the weather sciences of it existing, because you can just trust that 99.99999% of scientists are correct.
It's go on. Sorry.
And the way that I kind of got my stuff out there, I don't know. Social media is this kind of cool thing that I have a lot of concern and criticism about in my own sort of sphere. The fact that you can get ideas and things out there so easily, it's really, really cool. It's really cool in a way that in history people just would not have been able to do. And just harking back to 2011 and the Arab Spring.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Good
that
segue.
was kind of if people are actually too young to remember the Arab Spring.
Sorry, Henry.
Sorry,
Okay,
Henry.
wow, all right.
Henry, do you remember the Arab Spring?
I remember I'm not 12. I am, in fact, 2 weeks old.
14.
Thank you very much. So,
that was kind of this movement that came about partially or completely because of this sudden, like this political movement existing within this sphere where we have social media, where people are able to organize online. Things have actually changed since then, I think. Social media has become this much greater influencing factor in that the actual functionings of how social media works influences the things that people are able to post and the things that become popular a lot more in ways that I think are almost entirely negative. And including in this like climate sphere. But I think you can't deny that it's the only way to get messages out there, especially messages that maybe can't exist within really mainstream discourse. And by that I mean like it's not a story that's gonna a story or a discourse that's going to appear on ABC or on Win or 7. So I think like social media is this really cool space, and I think being able to put my art out there on social media, it makes me feel heard. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. Definitely. Mitch,
that's great.
Do you have any more questions? Or
No, that was good. I think
is that a good endpoint? I think.
Yeah, I'd echo the encouragement just to get stuck in.
Yeah.
Even with my tiny, view on things, being a kind of podcast person and having done a few science things, the key thing is just to get started, and it does give you a platform and a way of putting information out there that perhaps wasn't available in the past. And it's something where you can define the terms of your own discourse, and you can speak very specifically to people and provide them with information that would be very difficult for them to access in other places.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Like, especially right now, there's so much on social media, but at the same time, there's so little on social media. Yeah, right? It's such a good platform. Yeah.
And we've wasted it.
No.
I don't think we've wasted it. I genuinely
we haven't wasted it. Yeah, I think generally it's being co-opted by perverse interests.
Yeah, for sure. Perverse interests is a really good way of putting it. I might just add, sorry, Henry.
No, you're good.
That you don't need to be good at drawing to make comics and art.
Sweet.
You can be shit at
No, definitely.
It means I can do it. Yeah.
Definitely. And like, if you want to look at it from the most pessimistic viewpoint possible, if nothing else, putting something on social media, if nothing else, still allows you to vent about the thing you want to vent about.
Yeah.
Right? And if that's all it is, that's still a lot. Because just being able to bring up something you're very annoyed about or that you want to bring up is really good.
Yeah, I genuinely felt a sense of catharsis after that comic that I made blew up a little bit. Like, just feeling that people were understanding where I was coming from and being able to express my feelings in this very open way.
Yeah. Well,
no, thanks for your art.
Yeah. No.
If nothing else or anybody else, I really enjoyed it. And getting back,
that's it.
I flew back into the country in the middle of the whole thing. So trying to make sense of it, I looked at your comics and a few other bits, and I thought, oh wow, people are really feeling this.
That's it. I still
remember a sense
remember
of commiseration.
I still remember when Mitch and I were recording one of our first episodes for this, because this entire podcast kicked off 2020, and we were recording one of our first episodes. We had the doors open where we were recording to let air in, but we had to close it halfway through because of how much smoke was letting in. And I think, if nothing else, just properly bringing this back up right now amidst everything and getting your thoughts on it, Caitlin, has been really good. It's been really nice. So thank you for this very candid conversation on a topic that has kind of just been swept under ever since. And fair enough, a
Fair
very
enough.
important thing has come out.
COVID's been a big thing.
I will point out that Canberra has absolutely nailed COVID.
Oh, we've
I
nailed
feel
it.
like we are the luckiest people in the whole world.
Pretty much.
That's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
How
Fucking
good.
crushed it, guys. Good job.
Nice. All we have left now is to call it out. That was really good. This is what the fucking extended cut is for. Just like
Yeah. For good chats.
literally for the most somehow despite the fact that we're all gone, the most like sobering of conversations should happen here.
Yeah.
I think that was really
No,
good.
that was great. I should do more Zoom calls drunk. What I've learned.
You should get him. I love that. And
Yeah.
yeah, I've been looking forward to actually catching you in person to have discussions about other comics of yours, because I didn't realize there was a whole back catalog too. So yeah.
A little bit of one, yeah. If you want to go really deep, you can look at my Tumblr. But
Hey,
yeah,
you can plug that if you want.
yeah. It's kind of sad. There was a point when I was like 17 years old where I was basically uploading one art piece a day.
Wow.
Now I average maybe like one every 3 months.
Wow.
But like
Yeah.
in a way, you uploading one every 3 months makes them more important,
More impactful, yeah.
right? Because they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
because you've had to come back for something. Right?
It's a
Yeah,
big
that makes
drop.
sense. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I tried to make one about COVID, but there was almost too much.
Yeah,
like
there's-
I feel
there's
like
a lot.
everyone has already said everything that needs to be said about COVID.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, why I felt it was important to do it from my perspective as well is because there's not that many people in Canberra, and there's not many like creators in Australia doing this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I felt like I had something unique to say that might not be said if I don't say it.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. To finish this out, we're doing it in a way where I say that's almost it. Caitlin, I'll thank you. I'll ask if you have anything
Thank
you
you.
want to say. You say whatever you want to. For over to Mitch one more time. If Mitch, you want to just do like the quickest social media like plug ever,
Gotcha.
Bring it back to me. I'll say thanks to everyone on behalf of all of us, and I'll reintroduce the band for their wonderful next song.
I love the band.
No
Yeah,
worries.
real good.
Count
Awesome.
up to 5.
We'll give it a second. All right, and that brings us to the end of the extended cut of this month's episode as well. Caitlin, we want to thank you so much for joining us and for having such wonderful chats near the end of that. Do you have anything you want to say to the listeners before we call it?
I love you.
And that's important right now. Like,
Yeah, I have a parasocial relationship with you.
you heard it here first. Caitlin has a parasocial relationship with every person who listens to this episode.
She peeled back the curtain on our gimmick.
Mitch, tell them about the socials.
Yep.
One more time.
Yep. Twitter, SUI podcast, everywhere else, Science Under the Influence, hate mail to scienceundertheinfluence at gmail.com. That's Henry. I'm Mitch. You've been beautiful.
That's it. And once again, to take it home for us tonight, they are Canberra's best-known climate change-aware funk band. They are the funkiest thing to come out of this city since blue-green algae in Lake Burley Griffin. You can find them on Triple J Unearthed and on all major music platforms. From their album Algorithms, they are An Inconvenient Groove. This song is titled Groove On. My name has been Henry. Like Mitch said, Mitch has been here, Caitlin's been here. This has been a great time. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you very soon.
The water is warm and it ain't getting colder, 'cause in the eye of the storm it's already over. The oceans will boil and the forests will burn, because the corporations, they only care what they earn. We tell ourselves that the damage is done, but we just get our groove on. It might be our final one. memory, just like Cheese TV and also Saturday Disney. The ice caps will melt, leaving polar bears homeless, and they'll have nowhere to swim, so they'll be totally hopeless. Our kids will ask, what did you do? We'll say we signed some petitions, and